What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's the Tom Gronkowski Show, and we have a treat for you for episode 20, brought to you by the Sports Fan Base Network, Rhode Island, for the fans and by the fan. I'm your host, Ruth the Truth, and today I have some special guests joining me today to break down all the madness of the NFL playoffs. We're going into week 2. And the Bucs have won their very first playoff game since 2002 when they won the Super Bowl back in the day with John Gruden. And man, we're excited. I don't know about you guys, but I was sweating a little bit with that Washington game. Man, Taylor Heinicke, I'm telling you, that boy definitely gave us a treat, and the defense kind of seemed like they did not know what to do. But without further ado, let me bring in the president of the Sports Fan Base Network, Rhode Island, Ron Roberts himself in the flesh. Welcome to the show. Thank you for guesting. I mean, I just had to have you on. It's episode 20. We've made it this far. You've been a diehard New England fan, but you also have followed the Buccaneers. So I definitely had to have you in here to talk to me a little bit about how you feel about Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, their move from the Beantown to the Bay. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. This is going to be a great weekend. I'm obviously riding the Bucks bandwagon all the way. What are you gonna say? I mean, people in New England want to kill me sometimes for Brady jerseys and Bucks. They call me a bandwagon rider. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care at all. I mean, I'm a Patriots fan. Always have been. Always will be. I think the Patriots will figure things out and get back off the snide next year. But I'm gonna follow my boys. That's just the way it is. It's loyalty, man. I mean, Gronk since 2010, Brady since 2001. I mean, if you're not loyal to these guys, then you got a problem.
Exactly. Then you obviously haven't been watching the NFL and you haven't been keeping an eye on the legacy that these two have left behind. And they've come to Tampa Bay to, make history, because I don't think it was an accident that they come to Tampa the year that they're hosting the Super Bowl. So I know that the Bucks right now smell blood in the water and they're going for that ring. Would you not say?
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna go. It's tough for me to sit back and be a complete, pink hat. That's tough. I want to be. You hear, you follow me. We talk all the time. I mean, I was flipping out. My kids got me my Brady jersey for Christmas. That's all I wanted. I mean, I was excited about everything. We created this show. You have taken it to another level, so thank you and Coach Jay so much for the work you guys have done. It's really unbelievable, the show you've created. I'm very proud of you, and
Thank you.
And you're just helping us and the whole company and the whole team, soar. So, and a lot of it has to do with we saw a need for a show like this. We saw that it could be something great. It was like you and I collided through a friend. It was like destiny, and here you are, 20 shows.
20 episodes. We made it. And I'm really excited. And you know what? Things happen for a reason. I've been friends with Jesse for so long, and when he saw, that I was getting into podcasting and trying to get into sports radio, he was like, "Man, you have to meet my guy." And then that same exact day, we're already on the phone, like making plans and making moves. And look where we're at now. You went from having like what, I think it was 5 or 6 podcasts, and now we have like 20.
20, yeah, 20.
20 podcasts for the Sports Fan Base Network. If you guys do not catch us live wherever you're watching, whether you be on Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're at, we appreciate you being here. If you do not catch us live, no worries. Just travel to the Fan Base Network, Rhode Island, sfbnri.com. You'll be able to catch some great articles as well as tune into all 20 of our great podcasts. Speaking of our podcasts, we have another great guest that's going to be joining us to break down the playoffs coming this weekend. We have Nick LeBlanc joining us from Title 10 Throwdown. Thank you so much for being on the Tom Gronkowski Show. A little bit of intro and tell us about your podcast so people can.
Ruth, thanks for having me on. And Ron, also thank you for the awesome opportunity. Telltale Throwdown is just a huge combination of all Boston sports, Patriots, Red Sox, Celtics, Bruins. I mix in a little bit of national news here and there when need be. And Look, I'll be honest. I can be extremely vicious. I'll praise the teams when they do well. I'll completely trash on them when they need to.
I love it. Yeah, he is.
We need that honesty around here, Nick. Keep it up.
Well, Nick could really be a homer, right? He could really. I mean, Nick has the Boston sports show on our network. Titletown Throwdown covers all the 4 major sport teams, and all poor Nick has been able to do all 2020 is just crap. This is after 20 years of Stanley Cup, Super Bowls, World Series championships, NBA trophies, all this stuff. The year Nick gets his show.
What's going on with the Celtics right now? I honestly haven't been able to watch a lot of NBA. So can you give me an update on the Celtics? What is their record right now?
10 games through. The Celtics are 7-3. They've had 3 straight games canceled due to COVID protocols between themselves and with the Chicago Bulls and the Miami Heat, and also Celtics are dealing with all injuries. But some good news on the Celtics front. Tristan Thompson and Grant Williams are expected to come off the COVID list on Friday. Kemba Walker is expected back on Fridays, and right now the game on Friday against Orlando, that's still up in the air, but that there's a potential that game can be played, but Celtics will be without Jason Tatum, their leading scorer, who is currently in COVID-19 protocols.
Yeah, I mean, the COVID has really continued to shake up the nation as well as, these professional sports leagues. And I read an article today about the NBA even considering maybe doing some type of bubble format again to try to get through the NBA season, because, I mean, they've been canceling games left and right. So I kind of agree with that. Nick, how do you feel about maybe jumping into a bubble scenario?
I think it all depends with the players, really how they feel about it. I know the players are strongly against the bubble. Same with the NHL players, and we'll see how the NHL does. They just kicked off tonight.
Yes, the Tampa Bay Lightning are facing the Chicago Blackhawks tonight.
Yep, the NFL has miraculously made it through without a bubble, but look, the NFL could not do a bubble at all because you got 32 teams. Over 100 personnel on all 32 teams. Where are you going to house that many people for an entire season? You just couldn't. Playoffs, maybe, but they've gone away with it all year. So, and, the less teams are playing, the less COVID issues you're going to have. And if you're the Browns, the fact that we've gone about 3-4 days without hearing any COVID-related issues with them, that's a sign that their outbreaks.
Hey, that's a sign that they're gonna win their next game. This is what I'm saying.
You know what? Now that you gentlemen have brought up the Browns, I mean, let's pay them respect. Let's pay them some respect and talk about this matchup about the Steelers. 28-0 with a minute left in the first quarter. Robert, please give me what you were going through, the emotions. What were you thinking when you were watching this game? Because I know my mind was blown, and I felt like such a fool for choosing the Pittsburgh Steelers to win that game.
I was popping champagne because, first of all, I'm a Steeler hater. I'd rather have people come down on me all day to say I'm jumping on the bandwagon with the Bucs, or I'm a Cowboys fan. I have my teams that I like. Right, I am a Steelers hater, and so that to me was because who hates the Browns? They've been of no consequence for so long. I mean, what was that? 90? Yeah, like 96. Is that what is? No, right? It was something like right. It was just crazy. So and it's just like. When they first off, obviously snap over Ben Roethlisberger's head, touchdown, first play of the game. It reminded me of Peyton Manning, Denver Broncos against the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl. The one Super Bowl I was thanking God the Patriots didn't make it to, because they would have got crushed by that Seattle team. That Seattle team was just unreal. But Peyton Manning snap right over his head. Like what? Like, these are the two of the greatest quarterbacks that have played in our generation, and they're getting the ball snapped over their head for like touchdowns or loss of yards or the opening play of a Super Bowl or whatever it is. So right when I saw that, I knew it was done. right when that happened, it's like, all right, these guys are done. It's like it was almost like destiny. But honestly, Mayfield, I don't ride the Mayfield train, but that dude was just throwing darts, lasers all over the field.
Nick, please give me what you thought about this Cleveland Browns team against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
First quarter, I was absolutely blown by, and I made a joke saying, "Okay, Patrick Mahomes, take off to the skies. We know it's you." Into Baker Mayfield costume, but no, Ron, as you said, when the ball snaps over your head on the first play of the game, you're already behind the 8 ball right there, and how the Browns just kept patting it on, forcing turnover. Look, the Browns gave the Steelers almost every chance to come back in that game, but the Browns offense did answer. And you look at Big Ben's line, 503 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, but you had the ugly 4 interceptions there. So when you turn the ball over 4 or 5 times and you expect to win, that's not how playoff football works. And get away with it maybe one game in the regular season because you have the next week to improve. But when it's the playoffs, next week's not guaranteed. You're not guaranteed next week. You're either guaranteed your next game or you're guaranteed a ticket out of the playoffs.
Right, you're home golfing. I mean, I know we were talking before we got on air about how the Browns let the Steelers back into the game. But, let's remember who was coaching the Cleveland Browns that night. All right? Does anyone even know?
The special teams coach.
The special teams coach, yeah. I can't think of his name right now.
Right. You just proved my point. So Ruth the Truth can't think of his name. All right. Nick LeBlanc's not throwing his name out there. I can't think of his name because no one cared. And he's not going to matter tomorrow. He just got thrown into this spot. He's leading this team against a team that was undefeated after 11 games. So, even though they had a weak schedule, it doesn't matter. It's the NFL, right? Still undefeated after 11 games. And you have a nobody coaching this team. And so all that guy did at halftime, I don't have a recorder in the locker room, but if it's me and if I'm a betting man, he said, please don't blow this game. Whatever you do, this will be the end of me. Right now we're on top, but if they turn around and come back and beat us, this will be the end of me.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, prevent defense the whole way. Let them score some points. Just don't let them win.
Go ahead, Nick.
Right? And one thing with the Steelers too, you start out 11-0, you lose 4 of your final 5 regular season games, and then you come out with that kind of performance in the first quarter against a team that has been to the playoffs in 18 years and hasn't won a playoff game in about the same amount of years that Buffalo has won a game.
Yep.
The Steelers got what they deserved. They got what they deserved, and Juju Smith-Schuster. Look, talented guy. A, stop dancing on freaking logos for TikTok. B, keep your flipping mouth shut. And same with Chase Claypool after the game. He does a TikTok live of his own and starts running his mouth. It's like, stop giving this team extra opportunities.
Yeah, so me and Martine Gramatica, who I do a morning sports show with Monday through Friday on Z Living Network, we call that bulletin board material. And by that, we mean, when players start yapping their mouths and the media catch a wind of that and they make these headlines and they blow it out of proportion, and it just puts fire underneath the butts of these players who just want to prove them wrong. And I think that's really what happened. Honestly, I was completely shocked with Chase Claypool and his comments. I mean, that kind of just showed his immaturity, and, he's a rookie, so you're going to say rookie things. But, I mean, if you're saying that the Cleveland Browns are going to get clapped by the Kansas City Chiefs and the Browns just clapped you, then what do you think was going to happen to the Steelers?
Oh, I know. And, the thing is with the Steelers, okay, they obviously always a good team. All right. Always, Patriots, Steelers, always had a rivalry. Even when the Steelers were in an off year, they always came in and they always gave good games. Right? Whether we were at Heinz Field or at Pittsburgh or they came up to Gillette, whatever it is. Right. But and you say, okay, now Ben Roethlisberger's still playing. Tom Brady's still playing. But I would love to have the medical sheet on Ben Roethlisberger and his trainer, and the medical sheet on what am I missing here? All right, and I'd love to have the medical sheet on Tom Brady. Did you hear that music? Was that just me?
My computer is going crazy right now. My apologies.
Nick, I don't want to know what just popped up on your screen. So, can't use the same computer for work and play, buddy. So it's like I don't know. Ben Roethlisberger is still around. The dude looks. If he's not done after this year, that's all. Someone give that guy his papers. That guy's got to be done. He's done. He's done. Tom Brady is not done. Tom Brady still looks like he's like 30, 32, right? He's in there. But Ben Roethlisberger looks like he's 50, and he's done. Anyone disagree with me?
Boss man, do we want to put all the blame on Big Ben though? I mean, he's coming off of elbow surgery from the year prior, and I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers had some success early in the season when they really got that run game going. So as soon as they, steered away from the run game, and you're putting too much pressure on Big Ben to throw so much, that's not the formula to win games, and that really kind of shot them in the foot after that Washington football team game. Go ahead,
Ruth,
boss man.
I'm gonna let Nick, because Nick, I'm taking all your airtime, but I'm gonna say this: if they would have won, who would have got all the accolades?
Big Ben.
Big Ben. So if he's gonna get all the good when they win, he's gonna get all the bad when they lose. That's just the way I look at it. Brady gets the same thing.
I mean, first play of the game. That's on Marquise Pouncey. I mean, 11, 12, I don't know, however long he's been in the league.
Yeah, a multi-year old pro.
Yeah, you always an all-pro for your entire career, and you shoot one over his head. And Big Ben's a tall guy, and you shoot it 7 feet over his head. That was on you. But I think it's a combination of Ben Roethlisberger turned the ball over 4 times, staying picked off 4 times. That's not a formula for winning. And honestly, Mike Tomlin I don't think he prepared his team. I really think that the Steelers took the Browns lightly. Mm-hmm. And look, Juju obviously running his mouth, calling the Browns great faces. The Browns are the Browns. And when you give a team like Cleveland bulletin board material, they're going to take that, run with it, shove it in your face, and then slap you across the face with it. And that's exactly what Cleveland did.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like because if you look at the first quarter, for example, you would think that Baker Mayfield threw for already 300 yards in the first quarter, but it was them just they were using what the Steelers were giving them. If you're going to keep turning the ball over, they're going to capitalize on that. They were using Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and they were just going insane. So kudos. I mean, I have all the respect for the Cleveland Browns. I think the whole team woke up feeling dangerous, and I know the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have a run for their money. What do we think about the matchup? We'll start with you, Ron. What do you think about the matchup coming this weekend between the Kansas City Chiefs, who haven't played because they had that bye week, and then they sat most of their starters off against that loss against the Chargers? How do you think that they're going to be playing when they face the Browns this weekend?
So let's just really quick. I want to go back to what you just said about Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. First off, Nick Chubb, another big miss for the New England Patriots on draft day. We took Sony Michel. We should have taken Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I like Sony. Sony had a good year when we won the Super Bowl, but he has no longevity. He's too small. He's getting beat up. Chubb is a monster. All right.
Yeah.
If you had Chubb and Hunt, now let's not. Does anyone remember Kareem Hunt was filthy for the Kansas City Chiefs? Obviously, he had his little to do his stupid things, but he was their guy, and he was great. So now you have 2 number 1 running backs for the Cleveland Browns pounding the ball by committee down your throat. And then all of a sudden it opens it up for Jarvis Landry and the gang and Baker Mayfield. And let's not forget about their tight end. He had a great game too. Why is his name? What's wrong, man? Hooper. So Hooper had a great game. He had a drop in the end zone, but besides that, he had a great game. So, I think, to me, Cleveland comes out strong. They got their team back. Kansas City might start off a little rusty, but I don't think Cleveland's got enough to beat them. I'm gonna defer to Nick on this one, but I go Chiefs.
I don't know the Chiefs in this one too. Really, for this reason, Patrick Mahomes, he can do just about anything. He can run the football. He can throw the ball downfield. He can even throw the ball when he's not even looking at a guy. This is just an incredible athlete. Now, look, I'm not going to count the Browns out of this game entirely. They can absolutely make this a game. And I think Kansas City, as they were last year, I think they're going to be a little slow getting going because Mahomes hasn't snapped a football in 2 weeks or snapped a ball of meaningful football in 2 weeks.
Yep.
All these guys are well rested, which isn't a bad thing. And the Browns just played a great game against the Steelers, so they got a lot of momentum riding. Well, I don't see the Browns winning this game. They're going to make it a good game, probably a close game for about maybe the first three and a half quarters till Kansas City finally blows them away like they should.
You think that long? You think they're going to keep it close that long?
I give Cleveland a lot more credit than I should, but they go into that prevent defense that they did on last Sunday night. Patrick Mahomes just going to pick that defense apart, go to Kelsey down the middle, Hill in the middle. It'll take them 3 plays every time to score touchdown to touchdown.
It just makes you scared. You start throwing those names out there, and I'm just, I'm sad the Patriots aren't in the playoffs, but I'm almost glad. Right?
Yeah, so look, the Chiefs are an absolute wagon right now. They're the best team in football for a reason, and they have probably the best chance to go back-to-back for the first time since the Patriots did it in 2003 and 2004. So I'll do the Browns. The Browns will stay in it for a long while, but eventually Kansas City will find their legs, sweep them away like they should, and move on to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I believe it was sometime this season when the Kansas City Chiefs were playing the Houston Texans and they were down big at the half, and then they scored 40 unanswered points. So I kind of see that kind of scenario replaying against the Cleveland Browns this coming weekend. But let's jump into another game that I thought was pretty awesome. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Let the gentlemen catch their breath. We're going to have a Titletown throwdown for a quick commercial break. Thank you for checking in and watching the Tom Gronkowski Show. We are on episode 20. I appreciate everybody being here, and we'll be right back. Titletown Throwdown. I believe every Thursday night at 7 o'clock.
Yep.
7 o'clock with Nick LeBlanc. So make sure you guys are checking that out. If you do not catch them live, no worries. Just travel to the sfbnri.com and check out all the great 20 podcasts that we have going on. You guys need to be paying attention to the Sports Fan Base Network because we are excelling and growing with each and every week. When me and Ron first got together, he only had 6 podcasts, and now we're at 20 in less than 6 months. So you guys got to be paying attention because we are making moves. So before we went to the commercial break, I wanted to talk to you gentlemen. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you and Nick came on. It came on you, then Nick. 1, 2. You guys were together when you guys were number 6, number 7, or number 7.
I remember it was last February. Ron contacted me through LinkedIn and say, "Hey, are you interested in writing articles? I could use some boys trying to grow something." I'm like, "Yeah, this would be a great opportunity for me to build my resume and help grow a company." So,
heck yeah,
I dove head first.
Yeah, thank you, Ron, for just giving us this platform because we really appreciate the opportunity to talk sports because we do this for the fans because we are the fans. So that's where the Sports Fan Base Network really sprouts its community. So before we went to break, gentlemen, I wanted to talk about that Buffalo Bills Colts game. Holy crap. This game had me on the edge of my seat, and the Buffalo Bills were able to pull that one out. Ron, Bossman, give me your interpretation give me your take on the Buffalo Bills right now defeating the Indianapolis Colts and ending their playoff run.
So I'm a Bills hater again. I mean, what do you want me to do? I used to hate the Colts too, but I really realized I hated Peyton Manning. I actually didn't mind watching the Colts do pretty good. They have a great player, Isaiah Jamari Rogers. He does their punt returns, but then he was actually playing secondary. He's from UMass. He's been doing a great job. He actually follows us on social media. So I was kind of pulling for him a little bit. He had a good game actually too. And I didn't really care who won that game. I will say this, I had a lot of respect for Josh Allen. I've had it all season long. The guy is just unbelievable. The way he runs his team, the way he throws, the way he runs himself, like the way he, can come out of the backfield. And their team's pretty stacked. They look really good. I am surprised that they let the Colts hang around, but Phillip Rivers is doing anything he can to try and win something in his career. It's just hard. My heart just breaks for that guy. Even though I couldn't stand him in San Diego, now it's like my heart breaks for him. So I'll defer to Nick again.
I'm glad that he had somewhat success with the Indianapolis Colts, but Nick, give me your take on the Buffalo Bills Colts game. The Bills pulled that one out 27-24.
I'll say this: the Bills got gypped of a fumble in the last 20 seconds.
No, that was a fumble.
That was a total fumble.
Here's the ground. Here's his knee. Come on, that is not down by contact. Give me a break.
I wish we had the clip.
Anyway, though, I think it was a great game. I think Buffalo absolutely did let Indianapolis hang around, even though Indianapolis, they're shooting themselves in the foot with penalties and just really a lot of inaccuracy from Phillip Rivers. Rivers is just shutting the ball which way and everywhere. It's like, Phil, where are you throwing this ball? And plus, me going to this game, I always said to myself, Phillip Rivers is good for 2 picks a game anyway, and he only threw 1, surprisingly. But
I love how you said Phil. He goes, Phil, where you throw this ball, Phil?
That's during games.
No, you're the best. Good.
But anyway, though, I always tell myself going into any game, whether I'm choosing the Colts or not, that Rivers is good for an interception or 2 each game. Not surprised they threw 1. Surprised he didn't throw 2. He probably should have 3. But no, I think the Colts really absolutely had a chance. What really killed them are some missed opportunities, not going for 3 early on in the game, the missed field goal, and just a couple of missed 2-point conversions. If they convert those, the Colts could win into Buffalo, won the game. They'd be taking on the Kansas City Chiefs right now. We could have had a rematch of Ravens Browns Part 3. But hey, I'll take Bills Ravens. I'll be a great game.
Yeah, that will be a great game. I'm excited to see whether or not it's going to snow because Lamar Jackson has already been on the record saying that he's never played a professional football game in the snow, and that's kind of been on his mind. I don't know why you would give that to the media because, the Buffalo Bills are going to go find some type of snow machine and make that happen. But, yeah, I'm really impressed with how Josh Allen played. Other than that last-minute fumble that kind of, put a lot of the pressure on the Buffalo Bills defense, but they were able to hold their own. And, I mean, when you're second in the AFC and you're almost up there when it comes to stats next to the Kansas City Chiefs, you definitely deserve the opportunity to go further into the playoffs. And it was since 1995 was the last time the Buffalo Bills won a playoff game, and Josh Allen wasn't even born. So that's pretty exciting to see this young whippersnapper make some noise in the AFC. But, yeah, I was really impressed with that game, and I'm excited to see the Ravens-Bills matchup this coming week. Who do you guys got, the Ravens or the Bills?
Nick, you go first.
I don't really like the Bills since I feel their fan base is annoying, but I just cannot stand the Ravens and their fans. So, tough game for me, but I didn't know the Buffalo Bills in this one. Really, for this reason. The fact that Lamar Jackson says, "Oh, I've never played in the snow before." It's like, dude, seriously, like you don't say that. Keep your mouth shut. But second of all, though, Jackson's part of the reason why I think the Bills might actually have good. You take away any type of running room that Lamar Jackson's going to have, whether it's to the outside or in the middle of the field, keep him in the pocket. He folds under pressure. He tends to throw the ball away, and he gets picked off, and he doesn't read defense as well.
Yeah.
And so you take away his running lanes, you force him to throw in the pocket where he's going to be pressured, get some guys up in his face. He's going to struggle. The Ravens will have a hard time trying to stop Josh Allen, and if you don't contain Stephon Diggs on the sideline, he's just going to torch you all day long, and the Bills will have a field day. But this is probably going to be a close game. Might come down to a field goal. I'm going to give it to the Buffalo Bills. They go to the AFC Championship.
So the Buffalo
Wait, I
Bills.
want to hear a score. I want a score for this one.
A score prediction?
34-31.
Wait, say it again.
34-31 Bills.
34-31 Bills.
I like this high-scoring game. All right, yeah, you write that down, boss man. We're taking note of everything here on the Sports Fan Base Network, Rhode Island, where we keep tabs on everybody. So I think the biggest blow for the Bills this past week was losing Zach Moss at that running back position. I really think that's going to be a huge blow for them. And so I'm excited to see who's going to step up in that position for the Bills, because as much as Josh Allen is a great mobile quarterback that could throw the ball on a dime, I know that they need to be firing from all cylinders, and that means having a great run game as well, especially when you're going up against a tough defense like the Baltimore Ravens. So let's see what happens. But man, we are getting into week 2 of the NFL playoffs, which only means the Super Bowl is right around the corner, which means the NFL season is going to be coming to a close, and we will all be out of a job. Just kidding.
No. Hey, so wait, I wanted to jump in on this one. Because I'm going to give you what I think on this, because this is important to me. Because one, I wrote an article this past week about how the Patriots had Lamar Jackson on the draft board at the 23rd pick in the 2018 draft, and we took Isaiah Wynn. Now, it was probably one of the biggest misses ever in Patriots history. I pretty much spent 6 hours on social media defending myself. I was getting destroyed because I shared it onto all these New England Patriots Facebook groups, like 400,000 or 500,000 members. People were just going after me, right? But the one thing in that draft, we had 2 number 1 picks, if people remember. We had Wynn and Michelle. Michelle went 31st, and Lamar Jackson went 32nd. So the Patriots actually passed on him twice. Now, I don't disagree with them picking up Sony Michel. I would have taken Chubb, but I don't disagree with them picking up Sony Michel. That's totally fine. But the Isaiah Wynn, we had him right there, and we took Wynn, and if we would have had Lamar Jackson this year instead of Cam Newton, because everyone's like, oh, we had a mobile quarterback. No, you had a washed up Cam Newton who's totally nuts, totally different than having last year's league MVP. He was the MVP of the league. Do you know who the 4 quarterbacks were that were picked before Lamar Jackson in his draft year? 1, Baker Mayfield. 2, Josh Allen. 3, Sam Darnold. 4, the completely ghosted Josh Rosen, right? So he was like a high-level draft pick. Not only did Lamar Jackson, does he have more rushing yards and passing yards and touchdowns, and he was a league MVP. He has more than all of them combined.
Yeah.
Right? All of it. But Patriots fans were still arguing with me that we shouldn't have taken him. So this, unfortunately, it just kind of shows how close-minded New England fans are. I mean, it's unfortunately, but I'll say this. If Lamar Jackson wins this playoff game, it definitely becomes the biggest draft miss in the Patriots' history. Definitely.
And that's what we're here for. We're here for Ron to be able to express how he feels about the Patriots and their draft picks and how they always miss the cue on who to pick. Now, I'm glad that we're talking about the Baltimore Ravens. I do want to know. I do want to know your guys' opinion on Lamar Jackson not even shaking the hands of any of the Tennessee Titans opponents when they won their first playoff game after losing to the Tennessee Titans last year in the playoffs. What are your reactions with Lamar Jackson and how he spoke about the Tennessee Titans and their disrespect towards their team?
I mean, I get it.
Nick.
You know, he felt. I mean, he absolutely felt that the Titans disrespected the Ravens by huddling up on their logo back in what was it, week 10, 11? What?
Yep.
I believe way back when. So I don't blame Lamar Jackson for holding that bit of a grudge, and I don't blame the Ravens for going to the Tennessee logo on Wild Card Week to celebrate the game-winning interception. That's fine, but at the same time, though, for Lamar Jackson, say, I get it, bad blood between that, disrespect, get it, but be the bigger guy, still show a little bit of respect to your opponents, shake the hands of the guys. You know, they want to congratulate you, wish you luck the following week, and just take it. You know, again, I don't blame it, but, you know, don't just be the classier player there. Just shake the hands of the players to show that, you know, but let bygones be bygones and let's move on.
No way.
I think we had a game. I think we had a Tampa Bay Bucks game this year that Tom Brady did not, show GOAT mannerism by walking off the field after, I believe it was a Chicago Bears game, and he did not shake the hand of Nick Foles. I mean, I know there was already bad blood between them after you come in as a second string quarterback and defeat the GOAT in the Super Bowl. So I kind of understand, but no, you're right. As an NFL player, as a professional, you got to keep it professional. And especially when you win the game in the manner that you did, I would have been like smiling the whole time and shaking that hand as hard as you could. I mean, nobody expected Derrick Henry to get shut down the way he did. He had 9 carries for only 40 yards. Now, this is the same running back that has rushed for over 2,000 yards in one single season. Only the 8th running back in the NFL history to ever do so. So I was very proud with how the Baltimore Ravens were able to stop that rush game. And that was definitely the key because, I mean, as you can see, we cannot depend on Ryan Tannehill's arm to win the games for the Titans. Would you gentlemen agree?
Yeah. And look, Ryan Tannehill's he's not a bad quarterback. He could be much worse, but he's not up there with like guys like Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers, anything like that. But Tannehill's more the average type quarterback. You can depend on that maybe 1, 2, 3 good games most during the season. But that team is run heavy, and when you stop Derrick Henry, the whole offense just collapses, and that's what happened on Sunday.
Right. Go ahead, boss man. I know you got a comment about Brady. Let us hear it.
Yeah. Well, no. So we were talking about handshaking, and I didn't hear either of you guys say this, so maybe you missed it. But I was kind of watching intently because I was really into the game. But after the Buck beat the Washington football team, Brady went to Alex Smith at the end of the game and shook his hand, told him how proud of him he was, blah, 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 and never even searched out Heineke. Never searched out Heineke. Go back and watch the game on YouTube or something at the end. Just go replay the end. Heineke found Brady in the crowd and tapped him on the back shoulder, and Brady still didn't turn around. And then finally Brady turned around and was like, oh, yeah, and gave him like a little pat and took off. Just go back and watch it. It was savage.
I wish they acknowledged them.
But after the performance that Taylor Heineke had, you don't think Tom Brady deserved to give the young lad like at least a high five or a handshake? Nothing?
He should have signed his jersey because the guy's never going to play in the NFL again. He should have just signed it for him or something.
I like that.
What?
Chase Young's already on that.
Nick, he's going to go play in the USFXL. USFXL, NAL.
Or there's a
United States Football XF Indoor League.
Yeah. There is a new football league coming out soon. Is it the XFL?
That's coming back in 2022.
I made that up. He's going to be playing for the Green.
No, but there's a oh gosh, what's his name? That one quarterback that came into the league and he was a bust and he got into a lot of domestic trouble, violence with his girlfriend. What's his name? He was a first round draft pick, John. I can't think of his name right now, but that's besides the point. But
wait, Johnny Manziel?
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, he's long. Oh, he's he's long gone somewhere.
No, you're right. The XFL is supposed to start back up, and Johnny Manziel is going to be one of their key guys. But that just goes to show you that's like the Barstool Sports version of the NFL. It's what it is.
I like that. I covered the Tampa Bay Vipers when they had their short skit. I mean, they only won.
It's garbage, so don't worry about it. Heineke will be his ball boy.
Well, there you go. I'm hoping that Taylor Heineke definitely has another chance to prove a point because I mean he was an exceptional. We'll dive into the Bucs game in just a moment, but I mean the kid has some skills, so definitely got to give it to him. But we're going to take another quick break, gentlemen, if you do not mind. And when we come back, we will finish off the rest of the games of that weekend as well as the Tampa Bay Bucs game. So stick with us on the Sports Fan Base Network, Rhode Island. The Political Go every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Make sure to be catching that great podcast with Mr. Felix, and he has a lot of great views to express to you guys. So make sure to catch that podcast on the Sports Fan Network, Rhode Island. But we're back here on the Tom Gronkowski Show, where we talk about the move from the Beantown to the Bay with Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. I am joined here by Ron Roberts himself, the president and CEO of the Sports Fan Base Network, Rhode Island. And then we also have Nick LeBlanc, who has joined us here as well with Titletown Throwdown. Thank you again, gentlemen, for joining me because my first podcast got, canceled today. And I was just like, I'm bored and I want to talk some football. So I'm really glad that you guys decided to jump on with me. And just shortly, we will be having my other co-host, Coach Jay Morgan, joining us in just a moment after he gets back from his family dinner with his family. But Nick LeBlanc, talk to me about this game that we witnessed between the New Orleans Saints and the Chicago Bears, who almost got completely shut out. They were only able to score 9 points against the New Orleans Saints defense. And let me tell you, that last touchdown, that walk-off by Graham, that was savage. Literally caught the ball, scored a touchdown, walked into the locker room, insane. But let me hear your gentlemen's take on the Chicago Bears and New Orleans Saints game this past weekend.
I think it was a mismatch really from the beginning. Look, the Bears were only in it because their defense held their own. Drew Brees and the Saints offense, they couldn't get anything going offensively at all.
Right.
I believe it was 7-3 at the half until the Saints finally picked it up. So, well, it was a complete mismatch. Mitchell Trubisky, look, he's not a bad quarterback. He's not a good one either. He's right around that average quarterback. I believe he was taken too high. The Bears would be better off. They picked Patrick Mahomes. That's another missed draft for the Bears. But look, Jimmy Graham, I absolutely love that moment. When he did that, I just started laughing. That is probably the greatest thing I've ever seen. You catch a touchdown, just run straight to the locker room. I did my thing. I'm done.
One-hander,
one-handed touchdown. I'm heading home. I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye. I'm retiring.
that was great. But no, it wasn't a bad game. Good game for about maybe the first 2.5 quarters. So the Saints finally found their stride.
Mhm.
And look, I just think it was a complete mismatch. But if you're Brady and the Bucs watching that game, you got a legit chance on Sunday night. You got a great chance.
Absolutely. I think the New Orleans Saints definitely showed some faults in their offense as well as their defense. And it was kind of sad that Chicago Bears weren't able to, kind of take advantage of what the Saints were giving them. But I mean, Mitchell Trubisky has always been a wishy-washy quarterback, always back and forth. And I don't know, you've kind of heard the tabloids already saying that the Chicago Bears are planning to move on from Mitchell and not pick up this fifth-year option. Boss man, I want to know your take right now on the Chicago Bears situation between them keeping Matt Nagy, them keeping their GM, but they're deciding to get rid of Trubisky. How do you feel about that? Boss man? You're hold on. How do we unmute him?
Yeah, somebody himself.
Oh, he's unmute yourself, boss. Boss man, where you at? President and CEO of the Sports Fan Base Network, Rhode Island. For the first time, we cannot hear you. For the first time in Sports Fan Base Network history. All right, while we let him get that technical issue worked out, Nick, I gotta know. Okay, like we've mentioned, but is he back? Is he back? Can we hear him?
Hey,
is he back?
Yeah.
There he is.
That's what I do. I fix it. Look, like I was saying, Chicago's trash. Mitchell Trubisky's trash. He's just trash. He's a UNC Tar Heel. That just is everything that you should know about him and where he played college football. He's just not going to make it in the NFL. He had a good college go, and then he got in the NFL. He got beat down. Now, as far as the Saints go, they're obviously just really good. You know, they're to me they were the best team in the NFC East, the NFC total. And now I don't know. I mean, Green Bay gets a lot of accolades, but you know, I think it's you could have Green Bay depending. I think Tampa Bay and New Orleans, I feel like that game is the game that sends a team to the Super Bowl. That's the way I feel. And Tom Brady and, Ruth, we've talked about this already on one of your other shows. Tom Brady doesn't lose to someone 3 times in the same season, right, Nick?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
It's extremely difficult to beat a team 3 times in the same season. It's been done. Of the 20 times it's happened, teams are 13-7 when it comes to trying to beat a team 3 times. So
yeah, but what about Tom Brady? What about Tom Brady though? His record, I think he's only lost
0
twice.
chance.
0.
0 chance.
So
0.
Brady's lost 0. There you go.
All right,
Ruth.
gentlemen, I'm going to invite in a new guest for our show who would like to talk some playoffs with us. Matt, welcome to the show.
Hey.
How you doing, buddy? How are you?
You already knew. You knew Matt wasn't going to miss his chance at this.
No, I'm great. Just wrapped up.
If he can get on.
Wrapped up round 1 of the National Women's Soccer League draft tonight, so that's why I've been away while you guys have been jamming about Brady and his, effervescent youth and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and playoffs and everything. But just wanted to be able to jump in and join you guys because anytime I can get a chance to talk playoff football.
Right. This is the Sports Fan Base Network playoff party. So I'm glad that you're able to join because who knows if we're going to continue this conversation next week because the Tampa Bay Bucs are going to be facing the Saints for the 3rd time this season. And the first 2 encounters with these 2 teams did not go the way we planned. So, Matt, I want to know your take. First, let's talk about the Chicago Bears and Saints game. The Saints only scored 21 points against a tough defense like the Chicago Bears. The Bears only put up 9 points with that last-minute touchdown by Jimmy Graham, the one-handed walk-off touchdown. But I want to know your take. Do you think the Tampa Bay Bucs really have a chance to beat the Saints after almost getting shut out to them earlier this season?
Well, you know what they say, 3rd time's the charm. So we can go with that to start off. I'm saying third time's the charm. But you also have to look at games 1 and 2 and where the Bucs are now, how they've come about in offense. Remember, they didn't have Antonio Brown. Mike Evans has been, kind of like okay, and now he's seemingly putting it back all together. Brady has gotten better, I think, in Bruce Arians' offense as the year has gone on, as he gets more familiar with the playbook and the way that Arians wants to run. So if you put all of the pieces of the puzzle together, it really looks like the Saints probably don't want to go up against the Buccaneers now, because especially look at the injuries that the Saints have been having in the back end of the season, not having Drew Brees. Now, sure, Taysom Hill came in and played phenomenally, but Taysom doesn't know how to battle the playoffs. There are a lot of players on the Buccaneers roster who know how to battle the playoffs. And Brady, for all things being, somehow becomes better when the playoffs come on. So I'm going to look at it and I'm going to say, do I think that the Bucs are going to blow out the Saints? No. Do I think it's going to be a very close game? Sure. Do I think that it's legitimately possible to sit here and say that Brady and the Bucs may very well beat the Saints? Absolutely.
So, gentlemen, I definitely want to go.
Oh, my God. You're like on the fence. You're on the fence. Make a call.
I'm on the fence? Oh, I'm on the fence, so I got to make a call?
Yeah, you got – and Nick, wait, Nick, did you – what score was it that you gave me? That was the last – that was Bills-Ravens. Okay. We got to do scores. This one I want – all right. Ruth, you too. We need scores for this one.
Okay, so I'm going to say it's going to be a somewhat high-scoring game between these two powerhouse offenses. I'm going to go 34-38 Bucs.
Ooh. I agree with Ruth. It's going to be a go right ahead, Matt.
No, I'm going to think. I think, there's going to be scoring, but I think the defenses of these two teams are going to push and play. I'm going to go 24-17 Bucs.
Woo!
I agree with you, Ruth. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Both defenses kind of scare me. Tampa Bay's defense has been up and down all season, while the offense has been consistent. And Brady and the Buccaneers, as you said, Matt, they've gotten better. I think the Saints have lost a little bit, especially with the injury to Drew Brees earlier this season. And I think Brees came back a week too soon. I know he wanted to play against the Chiefs, have that Mahomes versus Brees matchup. But I think Brees came back a week too early. He did not look great in that Chiefs game. And while Brady and the Bucs, they've just elevated their play. Both defense, Jeremy, both defenses are a little bit up and down. One series, the Bucs defense is great. Next series, they're giving up 90 yards for a touchdown. I'm going to go with Ruth on this one, high-scoring game. 40-37 Buccaneers.
Ooh!
40-37. Okay, I like it.
What the hell?
Nick, I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm gonna disagree with you there. When it came to the Kansas City Chiefs and Saints game, okay, so Drew Brees was out for what, 4 or 5 weeks? The first half of that game, Brees was definitely shaking off the rust. He was definitely getting back into the motion. But when they came back in that second half, I'm telling you, it's like Sean Payton really took it to them during that halftime, because they came back. And I would say if the Saints and Kansas City Chiefs were to play the very next week, that same exact game, we might have had a different outcome. But that's just my perspective.
No, I absolutely agree with you. Saints came out much better in the second half. Just the way Brees looked physically in the first half, it looked to me that he came back a week too soon. I think he could have benefited from an additional week. But as you said, though, second half, he did play much better, gave the Saints a chance to win that game. But again, it was Mahomes and the Chiefs, and they were just too much.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to go around the horn because I have a question for everybody, and I really want to know everyone's perspective.
Wait, I want to give you a pick.
Oh, I thought you were just taking scores. I'm sorry. Sorry, I thought you were just being a rookie. I'm sorry.
No, Did I just look like Andrew Luck? All right, Andrew Luck, worst quarterback in the NFL. I can't stand him. I'm doing my Andrew Luck pick. Ready? Well, I was gonna tell you that I think it's gonna be. Wait a second. Where'd I go to college? Oh yes. It'll be
You're a clown.
32,
Is
29.
is his screen freezing or is it just on my end?
No, he's lagging.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's adding even more emphasis.
I'm not really lagging because that's what Andrew Luck does. He goes, 30.
Go find your modem and go plug into your modem real quick.
Look at this. He's got it on this.
29-32 run. Okay, but who wins?
Man.
Bucks win?
Bruce. Yeah, Buck.
Yeah, he's going 32-29 bucks.
32-29.
29.
Where does the 29 come from?
Yeah.
There's a couple safeties in there. Like who knows?
Are we playing
Two-point
Canadian
conversion.
football? You pick it out the back line, get a rouge, like what's going on here with that score?
Nick, what's the Vegas line on that game?
Give me 1 second.
And then you guys will know why I wait till you hear the Vegas line. Ruth, continue, Madame,
All right, gentlemen,
with your beautiful show that you.
I got a question for you, gentlemen, before we take another commercial break, so I can catch my breath. And I need some water because I'm parched. I'm doing a lot of talking right now.
I know why it doesn't run.
I forgot to bring my water bottle with me, so I'm going to take a quick commercial break when after I say this question. Gentlemen, who do you think needs a Super Bowl more, Drew Brees or Tom Brady? Now, Drew Brees is said to be going into the booth next year after this season. This should be his final season, and the Saints have had almost the same team, the same offense since 2017, and has been winless and haven't even been able to reach a Super Bowl. So, Matt, I'm going to go with you first. Who needs it more, Brady or Brees?
Neither. Tom Brady has all the Super Bowls he can possibly have and need. Drew Brees, if he did not have a Super Bowl, I would say that he needs this one more because he doesn't want to be Dan Marino, one of the greatest quarterbacks to never win a Super Bowl. But the fact that he's got one, he can go out this season without having it, and he'd still be considered a great quarterback because he's got a Super Bowl.
All right, so part 2 to this question. Who do you see winning a Super Bowl if it's not Brady or Brees?
Oof. I mean, I don't think anybody really has the ability to stop Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs right now. And I don't like back-to-back Super Bowls very much because I like seeing diversity of champions. But what Andy Reid has put together in Kansas City and what Patrick Mahomes has the ability to do as a quarterback is something special. And so I really think it's going to be very hard to stop the Chiefs.
All right, Nick, I'm going to swing that to you. Did you get those Vegas odds?
Yep. So the Saints are favored by 3.
Oh! So
over under 52 points.
All right, so first off, what did I pick? What's the score I picked?
32-29.
Oh, that's 3. And then add up 32 and 29. What do you get?
Is on the over.
It's over 50.
Oh, 52.
He'd be on the over. He's on the over.
He's on the over 61.
He's got the
Ruth,
line. He's got the line and the over.
Ruth, when are you gonna learn to trust me?
I mean, I think you've been doing a good job so far, boss man. So I'm gonna keep trusting you.
All right, good.
All right, so I'm going to swing this question over to Nick now. Nick, who do you think needs a Super Bowl more, Brady or Brees? Now, just pick one because Matt's cheating. So pick one.
He's on the fence about everything. Like, it's ridiculous. Pick something.
Look, Tom Brady does not need another ring. He really doesn't. If anyone needs another ring, it is Drew Brees. Drew Brees absolutely needs a ring. Look, the guy's only been to 1 Super Bowl. Probably should have been to 2 a couple years ago to play the Patriots.
All right, we
No.
no.
Why'd you take him out?
That was the ultimate hubris right there.
Nick, I'm only kidding.
I know.
That's funny, okay? Like, that's like the explode button. But this is why Nick has a great show, because he tells it like it is.
Right.
Yeah, as I was saying, look, Drew Brees has only been to 1 Super Bowl, and I really feel that if it was Patriots Saints in Super Bowl 53, Saints would have rumbled all over the Patriots. I'm going to be brutally honest with that. The Saints are the better team than the Patriots in 2018. And look, Drew Brees, for him to go out on top with the ring, absolutely. Now, Peyton Manning went out of the ring, but look, Peyton, he was given his ring. All right, Peyton was handed that ring. I want to see Drew Brees earn this ring. He absolutely deserves it, and it'll be a shame if he does not win one.
All right, let's think about some futuristic scenario right now. So let's say the Bucs are not successful with the Saints game this weekend, and then the Rams are not successful against Green Bay, and it's Green Bay versus the Saints. Matt, I'm going to go to you first just because of your expression. Who do you got, Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees in the NFC Championship game?
Aaron Rodgers, and that game is over by the end of the first quarter.
Okay. Nick, let me hear your take.
Offense is probably legitimately the most underrated offense
bias to my NFC team right there. Green Bay's my NFC team, and I'd show some bias to them.
The Packers are the most underrated offense in the NFC.
Yeah, if I'm being biased, it's I would love to see Aaron Rodgers go back to the Super Bowl, and if it came down to Green Bay, New Orleans NFC Championship game, I'd win Green Bay all day.
Can we get Packers Chiefs Super Bowl? That would be legit for the NFL and for the 101st season of the NFL.
Ron, stop doing that. You're being rude.
It's too much.
What Tony reality in the room? Jeez.
Wait, Ron, you're a Patriots fan, so why would you not want to see the Patriots get back to a Super Bowl?
We're all Patriots fans here, except for you. But no, I thought we were talking about, if it's first off Brady, Bucs Saints. I took the Bucs 32-29. So I'm not even going to go and talk about a Saints Packers Super Bowl right now because I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, a St. Packers would be an NFC Championship game. Right. Thanks, Matt. I didn't know that. And I'm not going to talk about that because it's not going to be that. It's going to be Brady and the Bucs versus Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers. And I think the Bucs have enough offense that they can beat the Packers. I think that the Packers, each team matches up differently, and that's why the Bucs have a problem with the Saints. But it's the third, like Matt said, third time's a charm. Bucs get by the Saints, and then they're going to go play the Packers, and I think the Packers defense doesn't have enough to handle the Bucs offense.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break, gentlemen. But when we get back, I definitely want to evaluate this Rams and Green Bay matchup because Ron's already jumping the gun and saying that it's going to be a Packers Bucs NFC Championship game. So just hold on 1 second, and we'll be right back. MMA Complete Podcast. Make sure to be checking out that live podcast every Thursday night for the Sports Fan Base Network, Rhode Island. I am joined here by boss man Ron Roberts, the president and CEO of Sports Fan Base Network. And we have Matt down below and Nick LeBlanc to the side. Now, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me for episode 20 of the Tom Gronkowski Show. You know I had to make it a party because it's playoff time, gentlemen. How are we feeling right now? How's everyone doing? Everybody keeping up? I know we've been on for about an hour, but you know, I
just enjoyed the show. I've only been on 17 minutes. What are you talking about?
Nothing
feels like 5 minutes.
There's nothing like playoff football. All right, playoff football week, no guarantee next week. It's the Elite Eight. It's the final eight, best eight.
You're right. I mean, we're getting so close to getting to the Super Bowl game, and as excited as I am for it being in Tampa Bay and me living only 0.5 miles away from the Raymond James Stadium, I am sad that the NFL season is going to be coming to a close. But what better way to end off the season but crowning the GOAT another championship win, and that is what we're hoping for the Tampa Bay area because they have not won a Super Bowl since 2002. So, gentlemen, let's jump into this Bucs-Washington football matchup. I'm going to start with you, Ron. What was your take on the Washington football team against Tom Brady and the Bucs?
Well, I mean, you know, Heineke obviously played beyond his potential, so that's great for him. But don't forget, there's absolutely zero film on that guy. So when you're an NFL team, you spend all this time in the film room and prepping for the game. And Tom Brady's the guy who's there first thing in the morning, right? There's nothing to study with Heineke. It was just it. The kid just went out and was a gunslinger. He obviously has talent, or he wouldn't, even be there in the first place. So, I mean, the Bucs had 7 scoring drives, too many field goals. They're going to have to correct that if they want to beat the Saints. But as long as they play the way that they've been playing, they should be okay.
Nick, let's swing it over to you. What was your take of the Washington football team's matchup against Tom Brady and the Bucs?
I thought this game was going to be an absolute blow up by the Bucs, but credit to Taylor, and he kept the Washington football team in there throughout the entire game. I think Brady and the offense, I think they were a little surprised in how well they played defensively. They're able to contain Chase Young, who was just an absolute beast this season for Washington. One of their very positives in a very weak division. But either way, though, I think it was a great game all around. Washington really held their own, really held Brady and the offense in check. And Gronkowski didn't catch a single ball, but he didn't need to. Because, look, you got guys like Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Cameron Brate, and Mike Evans. You got all these weapons. If one guy doesn't get a catch, not the end of the world. He's still got so much. So I think the Buccaneers did enough to win the game. They let Washington hang around a little bit, so they got clean some things up defensively. They want to have a great chance against the Saints this weekend.
I'm glad that you bring up Rob Gronkowski because this is the Tom Gronkowski Show where we talk about Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski's move from the Beantown to the Bay. Now, we did not see Rob Gronkowski catch a pass throughout that whole game, but I feel like he went into that game with the mentality that he was going to be used as a blocker. I mean, we knew that Chase Young was coming for blood. I mean, with Montrez Sweat as well. We knew that the Washington football team has the number 2 defense in the league right now. So he was used in a different perspective, and I mean, it worked to our benefit. So, Matt, I'm going to swing it over to you. What was your take on Washington football team against the Bucs?
To be blatantly honest, I was busy watching women's college basketball, which is a lot better than that game was.
Okay, I respect that. What game were you watching?
I was just flipping around because, I mean, it's college basketball season, and right now I'm, kind of like up in that.
Ron's losing his crap right now. Are you okay, Ron?
Ron's mind is just absolutely blown right now.
I wondered if Matt jumped on the right show. I didn't know if we have do we have WNBA Nation? WNBA Nation is on channel 212. I don't understand what the hell just happened.
In my defense, and I'll put it this way, outside of the New England Patriots, and when the Super Bowl happens, there are 32 teams in the NFL, and I watch 3 teams: the New England Patriots, and then whoever plays against each other in the Super Bowl. That's it. When it comes to the rest of the NFL season, I don't really watch games. So I was busy watching women's college basketball. Notre Dame was playing.
My screen is not frozen. My screen's not frozen right now. That's just me.
I can't stand you, bro.
I even held my breath.
Matt lost the brownie points right there.
No, he's fine. He's fine. Oh yeah,
it's playoffs, baby, playoffs.
Yeah. Wait, I need my boy in here. Where is this guy? Hold on. Come on, coach.
Hey, Coach Jay Morgan. This is my original host for the Tom Gronkowski show. I had the gentleman step in and do a playoff party with me because, I mean, it's the playoffs. I mean, I guess Matt wasn't aware, but it is the playoffs. So
Playoffs. Playoffs. I don't really watch football. I don't really watch football. I'm just on this football show because I wanted to tell you about, UMass versus Xavier girls basketball. I'm just kidding, Matt. I'm only kidding, obviously. But can I just say one thing though about the Brady, about the Bucs and the Washington football team and all this garbage? Ruth nailed it on the head. Rob Gronkowski, if you go back and watch the film, Rob Gronkowski never got beat around the outside the whole game. Brady probably was like, buddy, I need you. Gronk's like, I don't care what I do. He doesn't care. It's fine.
He's like, I'm just happy to be here.
Right. I'm saying, Coach, you keep freezing.
Coach Jay, can you hear us? Say something if you're alive.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
He sounds like Herbie Hancock.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah,
I love it. Coach, go figure out your internet situation.
He'll figure it out. That's hilarious.
Get back to us.
God. We're having a great time.
To put it mildly, though, the NFC East was a dumpster fire this season. So I don't think you could have put up 2 slices of bread against the Washington football team, and you would have won that game because I refer to them as the NFC least all season long in talking about them. I mean, hey, look, Jason Garrett doesn't even coach the Dallas Cowboys anymore, and he kept the Dallas Cowboys out of the playoffs. That's how bad the NFC East was this year.
La 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 la.
Hey, that's a great point, Matt.
That is a great point. And he must have been watching the Martin Gramatica show last week because that's what I talked about. I said, I can't believe Jason Garrett had more success with the New York Giants without Saquon Barkley than the Dallas Cowboys did with Ezekiel Elliott, who just got a 5-year extension with mad cash. Like, that was embarrassing.
And he still kept the Dallas Cowboys out of the playoffs by beating them on the final day of the season in Dallas.
Right. But Ruth, I have to correct you, Ruth. I'm sure Matt was not watching the Martin Gramatica show because women's soccer was on at that time. So I'm just
my mistake.
I mean, I'm just saying. Coach, are you in yet? We miss you, man. Come on, get in here. Oh, he said yes in the chat, but
can you hear me?
So
I can hear you. I can hear anybody else.
Whoa! Your connection is gaga. Yeah. Get that fixed.
Hey, Coach, if you're on your phone, if you're on someone's Wi-Fi, turn it off and turn on just your data, and it'll work.
Turn off your Wi-Fi.
Turn your Wi-Fi off.
Turn the Wi-Fi off.
So now let's move on to the next game. What game we talk about? You said Green Bay.
Yes, Green Bay and Rams.
All right, here we go.
So the Rams upset the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle after, I feel like the momentum changed right from the beginning when Russell Wilson threw a pick 6 in the first quarter, and DK Metcalf was upset. You could see him being verbal on the sidelines and even kind of getting a little aggressive. He was pulling like an AB on the sidelines. But then the next possession, then Russell Wilson throws like a 35-yard bomb to DK to score a touchdown. So it was a lot of back and forth. The Rams originally had John Wolford playing as their second string quarterback because Jared Goff just had surgery on his thumb. But unfortunately, Wolford got injured in the first quarter, damaging something in his neck. The hit looked hard. The hit looked bad. So Jared Goff had to come into the game. And that was probably the best thing for the Rams, having Jared Goff entered in that game. Gentlemen, I want to know your take. Do you think the Rams have enough? Now, Aaron Donald is said to be back by next week because he had a torn rib cartilage, but he said that he should be back for the Green Bay Packers game. Do you think that's going to be enough to stop Aaron Rodgers and the offensive power that they have in Green Bay? Nick, let's start with you. We'll go around the horn.
Probably not, because Aaron Donald, he's probably not going to be at 100%. And look, really the matchup to watch, between the Packer offense and Ram defense is Jalen Ramsey versus Devontae Adams. That's going to be the matchup right there. I don't really see Aaron Donald being effective with him coming back from injury on a very short rest. So that's going to be really tough as well. So really the Rams' only shot is to try to shut down Devontae Adams and just cover up, Alan Lazard, Robert Tonyan, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. You shut all them down. Don't give Aaron Rodgers really any of his toys to play with. You can shut that offense down and, don't give Aaron Jones any room to run. The Rams have a shot. Now, look, I think Green Bay is better on the offensive side of the ball because, look, we don't know how effective Jared Goff is going to be, how strong his thumb's going to be. And the backup quarterback most likely is going to be Blake Bortles. And Blake Bortles just absolutely blows as an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
So, I really give the Packers really the huge edge offensively. Defensively, I think it's a bit of a toss-up. Green Bay's defense is really good one week. They can get turnovers. Then the following week, they're giving up 400 yards through the air and on the ground. So I think defensively, both teams match up okay, but offensively, the Packers are superior than the Rams.
Matt, we'll go to you next. How do you think of this matchup between the Rams and Green Bay?
Well, Blake Bortles played for the Jacksonville Jaguars, which actually blows as an NFL franchise.
Wait, but didn't he also get signed off of the practice squad for Denver? Am I correct on that?
Which blows as an NFL franchise. So I mean, come on. Look. Anyway, fact of the matter is, here's all that needs to be said about the LA Rams. St. Louis Rams, LA Rams. We'll go through the whole LA Rams, St. Louis Rams, LA Rams. Is they play in California in a dome stadium. You got to play the Green Bay Packers. Where?
In Lambeau.
Not in California in a dome stadium in the middle of January. Enough said. Yes, you can add in all of the facts of Aaron Rodgers and this player and that player and whatever. But the fact of the matter is, the LA Rams got lucky with the game in Seattle because of the pandemic. If that stadium has 68, 70,000 fans in it, if it has the 12th man, if it is rocking, remember, there was a playoff game a couple of years ago. They set off the seismograph and caused an earthquake in Seattle from stomping around on the seats so much. So they got lucky getting through a game where they didn't have to deal with that. But you've now got to go deal with the elements of Lambeau. One way or another, I don't see the Rams being able to get past too many X factors that the Packers have, including Lambeau Field in the frozen tundra.
Ron, I want to ask you a question. What would be a bigger upset, the Rams defeating the Green Bay Packers or the Cleveland Browns upsetting the Kansas City Chiefs?
Definitely the Rams. Definitely. They have no quarterback. They have almost no offense to speak of. And they're all pro.
We're all like,
Why? Nobody
was expecting that answer at all.
Oh, really? No, the Rams
I threw you the alley. You were just supposed to dunk it.
No, the Rams have absolutely no offense whatsoever. They have nothing, right? It's just horrible. Now, their defense, all right, you have Floyd coming off the edge as a rusher. He's really nasty. If Darnold was healthy, but he's not going to be. Jalen Ramsey's a shutdown corner, but it's not even close to being enough. If they ever beat the Green Bay Packers, that would be life-altering. That's just not going to happen. Now, the Cleveland Browns, are going to have all their players that they were missing for COVID back. They're going to have their team at 100% full strength. And let's be real, the Steelers aren't absolutely a doormat. The Steelers were undefeated after 11 games. They're not a doormat. Yes, they played horrible. They were a little overrated. Okay, I get it, but not a doormat. Tons of
but that schedule for those first 11 games, like, have you looked at that schedule? They literally played the worst of each division.
I know, but they're a playoff built team. They have superstars at every position. You know, we talk about Pouncey snapping the ball over Big Ben's head. Well, there's 2 All-Pros. Juju Smith, All-Pro. A bunch of people on their defense, All-Pro. Their defense was supposed to be the best defense in the league. I mean, this was no matter what, it's the NFL. This team's not supposed to get walked over like that. I mean, Cleveland demolished them. So if Cleveland goes and beats Kansas City, people are going to go, oh, Cleveland was for real. It won't be a bigger upset. If the Rams walk in and beat Green Bay, it just is not going to happen. It's not going to happen anyway. What are you shaking your head for? What are you? Wait.
Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead. Let him have it.
I want to know.
I'm shaking my head for one reason, and Nick knows this well because Nick and I talked about this on one of my shows. I said throughout a large part of the season, I felt the Pittsburgh Steelers were suspect, and the Cleveland Browns beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, it's great that the Cleveland Browns got their first playoff win since Bill Belichick was the head coach of the Browns. Let's put it in that respect. The last time the Cleveland Browns won a playoff game, I was 14 years old and Bill Belichick was the head coach.
But it's a different team. So you're not even in the same generation anymore. So it's not even a good that's not a good analogy.
Because that Cleveland Browns moved and became the Baltimore Ravens and yada, yada, yada.
Not a good analogy.
But here's the fact. I said all season long that I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers were suspect. The Cleveland Browns have just proven that the Pittsburgh Steelers really were suspect. Now, is that to say that the Cleveland Browns don't have a good team? I can't say that. Baker Mayfield has certainly proved himself worthy of being an NFL quarterback. What the Cleveland Browns offense has done this year has been the best that it's been for a long time. Will they get past the Kansas City Chiefs? No. But should the Cleveland Browns get past the Kansas City Chiefs, I think we all expect Green Bay to beat the Rams. If the Rams beat Green Bay, okay, it's not that big of a deal, I think, because the Rams just went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago and because they've been a competitive team every year.
With who? Who'd they go to the Super Bowl with? With Jared Goff on their center. They have their 3rd string quarterback. No, is it their 4th string quarterback in now? Is it a guy off the practice squad?
Shall we remind everyone of 2001 when the New England Patriots lost Drew Bledsoe and some guy named Tom Brady who had only thrown 6 NFL passes in his entire career comes off the bench and leads the Patriots to the Super Bowl.
Doesn't matter. Tom Brady came out of the University of Michigan, a god. He had more 4th quarter comeback wins at the University of Michigan than any other quarterback. So he already was walking in there. They only took him a 6th-round draft pick because he was built like a lump of Jello. So that's not, whatever. If you ever saw the pictures of him, the guy looked like he just came out of middle school. Yeah. So the thing is, here's the question. What's a bigger upset? The Rams beating Green Bay right now as we sit, or Cleveland beating Kansas City?
Cleveland beating Kansas City without question.
No way. How are you going to say that when the Rams don't have a quarterback right now?
Because it's not necessarily about who the quarterback is. And I said this to somebody else earlier today. I am getting honestly tired of every single NFL team or any single team in pro sports being defined by a single player. There are 22 people who play an NFL game. 11.
Yeah, but if you don't have the right quarterback, you don't win. And not for nothing.
Nick Foles won a Super Bowl for the Eagles.
Listen.
Carson Wentz was the dude, and Nick Foles won a Super Bowl for the Eagles.
Doesn't matter.
Tom Brady won a Super Bowl for the Patriots when Drew Bledsoe was the dude.
Tom Brady was a good player at that point. This guy coming in here is not going to be a good player. And the Rams have zero offense. Zero.
Tom Brady
And
was 2 for 6 with an interception before he became the dude in New England.
For someone who watches the WNBA instead of football, you have a really strong opinion, and you seem to know an awful lot when you only watch the Patriots and whoever's in the Super Bowl. So I'm just wondering how you know so much. If you were watching Girl Hoops. Matt, I'm only kidding. I had to throw it
me
out.
under the bus for this.
You're like, I only watch the Patriots. The Patriots haven't played in a couple weeks. I'm just wondering. I'm only playing.
The episode 20 of the Tom Gronkowski Show, brought to you by the Sports Fan Base Network, Rhode Island.
Oh, you love this, Ruth? This is great.
I do love this. Yeah, I can do this. I can sit here all day. Like, I'm sitting in a really comfy chair. Like, I'm feeling good. I just need some popcorn.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I'm about to go make a glass of Makers on the Rocks really quick.
Nick, how did you not jump into that? Nick, wait.
You guys don't at it.
No. That's what this is supposed to be about. But Nick, what do you really think that the Browns beating the Chiefs is a bigger upset than the Rams beating the Packers right now?
I really think so. It's a real toss up because the Rams have no offense. The defense is. But the Rams' defense is what will probably help them win the game. Really, their linebackers.
They don't have any.
Take Aaron Donald out of it. Aaron Donald's probably not going to be effective at all. If Jalen Ramsey shuts down Devontae Adams, the rest of the secondary shuts down Tanya and Von Stanley, and the linebackers take care of Tanya. Who the hell is Aaron Rodgers throwing the football to?
Who's putting pressure? Who's putting pressure on Aaron Rodgers?
No one. No, Rodgers.
Exactly. He's going to sit back in the pocket all day. Aaron Rodgers with 5 seconds of time is lethal. Absolutely lethal. He's going to have no pressure.
If Aaron Rodgers gets knocked down at least 10 times to be an accomplishment for the Rams, he's not going to get sacked.
He's not going to get knocked out.
You take away all of Rodgers' weapons and Lazard, Vonda Stanley, Robert Tanya, and especially if Jalen Ramsey shuts down Devontae Adams. As Ramsey claims he is a top corner in the league. He gets to prove it on Saturday night. Right. I'll be watching that game in my Aaron Rodgers jersey, cheering hard for the Packers.
Look, he gave DK a game. All right, he gave DK a game, but Aaron Donald and Floyd crushed Russell Wilson. Yeah. Russell Wilson was under pressure all day long. No time to pass. That's not going to be the same.
The only benefit the Rams really have is on the left side because Bakhtiari, he's done with an ACL tear. The guy that they just picked up from the Colts, he's on the COVID-19 reserve list. So he's out. So you're already down to, your third string left tackle. And you don't know how effective he's going to be. But I still think that the Packers are going to have enough to still run over the Rams. The biggest upset will be the Browns over the Chiefs because the Chiefs are going to be favored by like 20-some-odd points.
I don't think
– it won't matter if the Browns have their full team.
Wait, grab the Vegas line right now for Packers-Rams. I want to see that. You pulled it up earlier.
Yeah. I gotta hear this. I need a deal breaker.
If you think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to end up by game day with a bigger margin on Vegas over Cleveland,
they absolutely will.
Green Bay's favored by
Hold on, let Nick pull it up.
6.5.
Let Nick pull it up. It changes before game day, so just hang on. Let Nick pull it up. Now, Nick, you said 20 points. You obviously know that's not true. So.
That's just me over exaggerating. It's probably like 15.
Matt said 6.5 is what? What's 6.5 right now? Green Bay over.
Patriots are 6.5 point favorites over the Rams.
Yep.
Over under 45.5 points.
Okay, so Packers are 6.5. What is Kansas City over Cleveland?
Checking that right now. If my iPad will cooperate with me. Kansas City 10-point favorites over the Browns.
What is it?
Kansas City is 10-point favorites over the Cleveland Browns with an over-under of 57.
So by Vegas standards, for as of right now, if the Browns beat Kansas City, it's a bigger upset by Vegas by 3.5 points.
Yep.
All right, let's see where it's at on game day.
Right. Well, gentlemen, we gotta be honest. We gotta be honest with ourselves. I mean, this is Patrick Mahomes we're talking about. We're talking about the future league MVP. We're talking about Patrick Mahomes, who just got a 10-year extension with the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, this is their time to win. So them getting blown out by a team by, like Cleveland Browns, I mean, I feel like that's going to be a much bigger upset. But hey, we are here on the Sports Fan Base Network, Rhode Island, brought to you by Ron Roberts, our president and CEO. And we definitely acknowledge his opinions and we respect them. But we are going to be moving on to the next topic. Gentlemen.
Wait, we're not quitting yet? I love this.
All right, one more game before. Go ahead, Ron.
No, we got to get Coach in here. We can't. This is going to be like your highest rated show ever.
He told me that he gave up. His connection's just bad. So I was like, all right, I'll see you later, kid. All right, let's move on to the Bucs game this weekend against the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. Matt, I want to know your perspective. Does Tom Brady have the opportunity to upset the Saints at home? And what do they need to do to make that happen?
Tom Brady's legend began in that dome in New Orleans. That was the Super Bowl in February of 2002 that began Tom Brady's story as the GOAT. I think he goes back there, this time in a Buccaneers jersey, not in a Super Bowl, but he continues to show his GOAT status. The meme of the history commercial, the History Channel meme that got put out of like Tom Brady and Drew Brees with the beards
and all that.
Hilarious.
I love that thing.
And I'm telling you, they don't look that old, which is insane to think about. These two guys are, 40-plus-year-old quarterbacks, and neither of them really look like Tom Brady looks like he just walked out of Michigan. Like he could be 22, 23. But look, Brady knows how to put himself into special situations time and again. Yeah. He goes back to where it sort of all began, where the legend really began, and he gets it done one more time. I said it already once. Third time's the charm. Yeah.
All right, Nick, what do the Bucs need to do to upset the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans? What does Brady and the Bucs need to accomplish?
So they have to score early and often. Okay, if they have a chance to run the clock down on a drive, run it down. Take 12, 13 plays. Take 7.5 minutes off the clock. The longer you keep Drew Brees on that sideline, the greater chance you have to win. Don't give Drew Brees a chance. Offensively, I think the Buccaneers are going to be fine. Defensively, they got to get pressure on Drew Brees. They have to force him into the mistake, and they have to step up in front of throws. Because if you're letting Michael Thomas, Jared Cook, and run all over the field and catching passes at will, and you're letting Alvin Kamara rip up your defense just like he did on Christmas Day against the Minnesota Vikings, you are absolutely 100% porked. So if you did shut down Kamara, shut down Thomas, shut down Cook, and force Brees into a mistake and just play consistent football on offense, you're going to go into New Orleans, smack them in the mouth, and you got a ticket to the NFC Championship game, whether you're going to go to Green Bay or you're going to be hosting the LA Rams. One of the two.
I think Brady's got to be able to also there's two things Brady really needs to do. One is he has to be able to distribute the ball. If he tries to play favorites like we see him do so many times, it's not going to work. He's got to spread the offense out. He's got to be going to 4, 5, 6 different guys. If he can spread the offense around, it's going to give them a lot of more dynamic. The other thing is he's got to pull some old tricks out of the bag. He's got to be going to the line with 2 plays ready to call not just the one single play. He's got to have that one play he's going to call and that alert play that he sees when he identifies the mic, when he identifies, who's going to come on the rush, if there's somebody cutting in from the outside, and have that second play that he can just switch things around to right away. If they can accomplish those things, New Orleans defense is going to have a hard day trying to figure out what Brady is going to do, because they're going to go into this game. New Orleans defense is going to go into this game thinking, we've already played you guys twice. We know what you're going to do. You've got to change the game completely in this third time playing them.
No, absolutely. I think Brian Leftwich definitely has a lot of work to be done, because it didn't really seem like they had a really potent game plan when they faced the New Orleans Saints that second time around. So I'm hoping that they went to the books. Ron, I'm gonna let you wrap this up before we wrap up episode 20 of the Tom Gronkowski Show.
All right, so there's a couple things. One, Brady is one of Brady's hashtags is the greatest quarterback of all time. Is that he was one of the best quarterbacks to ever spread the ball around.
Yeah.
He finds all the different targets. He'll hit 11 different receivers in a game. So it shouldn't be a problem for him, one. Two, these are just things that we're reiterating, right? The second thing is he doesn't lose to teams 3 times in a row. He doesn't. So Tampa Bay brought Tom Brady here, one, because he's Tom Brady, but two, there's a certain lore and stigmatism that follows him, and these are the things that he brings with him. He doesn't lose to a team 3 times. He wins in New Orleans, right? Even in the tough games. I remember watching a game when Rex Ryan's brother was the defensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints. Tom Brady hitting his receiver in the back corner of the end zone with 25 seconds left to win the game. And there was, memes flying around everywhere. Like, he goes into New Orleans and he wins, right? And the other thing is that I think that the one thing for the Bucs is going to be that they can't have field goals. They can't have 7 scoring drives with 4 field goals. It just can't. That's not going to beat the Saints. It was good enough to beat the Washington football team. That's not going to be good enough to beat the New Orleans Saints. 7 scoring drives, 5 touchdowns, 2 field goals has to be. And the Bucs secondary is suspect. I mean, Heineke, I like to try and throw up crutches like there was no video on him, but Heineke threw all over them. Heineke was hitting plays like he'd been an NFL quarterback before. So, they're secondary suspect. So, thinking that Breeze is going to make mistakes, thinking that the Bucs defense is going to shut down the New Orleans Saints, not happening. New Orleans putting up 30. 29, I picked, right? They're going to put up 29, 30 points. It's Brady's got to score more. That's just it. Yeah. Their offense has to do their job.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think Tom Brady needs to take advantage of all of his weapons, spread the ball, and the defense needs to hold up their bargain. Does anybody have any final thoughts before we wrap up episode 20 of the Tom Gronkowski Show? I'm losing my voice. We've been on for 2 hours, and I'm like,
it's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Just final thought. Spread the ball around. Gronkowski 1 play, Brady another play, Brown 1 play, Godwin the next, Evans the next. Even get Leonard Fournette involved out of the backfield and LaShawn McCoy, that those guys just keep going to different guys, fool that New Orleans defense. And again, if the defense can just step up and get some pressure on Brees and force him into a bad throw and step up in front of someone to make a play, the Buccaneers will do good. But Ron, as you said, they can't go 7 drives, taking 5 field goals and only scoring 2 touchdowns. You need touchdown. A field goal's fine here and there, but then you got to answer that field goal with a shutdown defensive stand and then another touchdown.
Yep.
All right, Matt, any final thoughts?
After Matt, I want to close out. Go
ahead. Final thought. No team in NFL history has ever played a Super Bowl in their home stadium. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers have a legitimate chance to be the first team to ever do that. Brady is known for writing legendary stories wherever he goes. One reason why he went to Tampa Bay was to write another piece of a legendary story, but also because Tom Brady wanted his career to be modeled after the GOAT before Brady was the GOAT, which was Joe Montana, who left San Francisco and went to the Kansas City Chiefs for 2 seasons before he retired. His 2 seasons were lackluster. Brady's 2 seasons in Tampa Bay will be great.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
Montana,
Would you like to go ahead and close out, Ron?
Yeah, well, Montana did bring the Chiefs to the NFC Championship game. That was his first season as a Chief. So really,
but he didn't win.
It doesn't. He brought the Kansas City Chiefs. That was like a totally. It's just like it's the same story, and obviously Brady's hero is Joe Montana. You know, he tells everyone that, and it's the same type of story. He's done where he was. Montana did the same thing Brady did basically in San Francisco. He went to Kansas City, brought him to the NFC Championship game and lost. Yeah, I'm hoping Brady can take it to the next step, but it's like they're like reliving the same story 20 years later. It's crazy.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say was everyone who's watching or comes back and watches, I have some of the 3 best podcast hosts in the business sitting right here on the screen. It was, these guys made the show amazing today. We're missing Coach Jay. Coach Jay is amazing. He's the other half of Ruth on the Tom Gronkowski show, but he was having trouble getting in. But we love you, Coach Jay. I can't thank you enough for everything you've been doing. But I want to thank these 3 people right here on the screen for everything that they've been doing for our company and for themselves. I think it's just amazing. And all 3 of them, Matt has, and That's the Game in Sports World Weekly. Nick's got Titletown Throwdown. Ruth's got Tom Gronkowski show. All these shows are just absolutely killing it, and I can't thank them enough for all the hard work that they put in. And also, I'm proud to be part of the team with them. So everybody that saw us arguing and all that stuff, this is all for the show. I had a blast, Ruth. Thank you for so much for having us on. I can't tell you how much fun we had.
Thank you for joining me for episode 20 of the Tom Gronkowski Show, brought to you by the Sports Fanbase Network, Rhode Island. If you don't catch us live, no worries. Just go to sfbnri.com to catch all the 20 great podcasts, including Nick's, including Matt's, including Ron's. We got a lot going on, so make sure to check us out and subscribe to us on YouTube and find us on social media because we are everywhere. Gentlemen, that is all for me. Thank you so much, and let's go Bucks.
Touchdown.
Go Bucks.
That's a whole different feel going in at halftime. Brady lofts it. Gronkowski. He's got it for the touchdown.